Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Chronicon. My name is Wilfred and today I would like to play a little bit of my Templar level 50, also trying out the legendary. Now I play a little bit of the legendary difficulties and it is really hard, so whatever you see later on may not look very impressive or very fast, but it's more for me to learn my build because I actually have to change my build a little bit to transit from my holy Templar into a hybrid Templar. So I'm going to do a little bit of boss fight here and then showcase to you what it really plays like, and then after that talk a little bit about how I overcome some of these difficulties with the build variation. Now before I get there, in case some of you may be quite new to or have not seen Chronicon, the how the reward system looks like is something like this. That if you are playing a legendary difficulties, you get to have like 60% magic find luck and also 40% experience gain. But if you play the legendary, which is what I'm right now, you actually get 120 magic find luck and 100% experience gain. So the difference between here and here is quite a fair bit, because it's like double the magic finding, and as well as more than kind of like, you know, from 140% to become 120%. So it's quite for experience. So it's quite a good reward. But of course, you know, choosing this one actually for me right now, because I'm still trying to gear for it and get my build right, because it requires a number of points to get it to this kind of like difficulties. It's a little bit slower, so not the most efficient way to do things. But I've been playing the heroic, like, you know, last night or so, it become too easy. So once things get too easy, become a little bit like not challenged, and you know, it could get a little bit, you know, just too much grinding. But going into legendary actually is very exciting, because there are moments when the character may die and so on. So I'm going to play a little bit of the boss fights first, and then talk a little bit about the build or the gear that I have. So right now I can actually go into here, the Stampede. I thought it's a very nice design, because you have all these extra mobs that come onto you. From the build wise, just in case you haven't really seen what this you know, Chronicon or my Templar is like, I'm using a Hammer Storm, which is giving me the kind of like, you know, a little bit of AoE kind of thing. I'm having Purify to remove negative condition. But I had to observe a little bit on this boss fight. Maybe it's not that necessary. I'm using the Divine Salvo, which is mainly the you see a lot of sword coming up from the sky. I'm also using Ascension for me to, you can see the wing from the back. It actually gives pretty good buff to the holy damage, and then Open Heavens to heal, consecrate, and I'll show you the build in just a bit. But different from my first video, this is a hybrid build, so I'm using a Cliff instead, which is a physical power, sword power. So yeah, I'm just going in here, and we'll see how it goes. So it's an elf, and there are a lot of So you have to clear the initial mobs, and the heal myself a little bit. You can see the expulsion actually in action as well. So it's a bit slower, but I just want to play it safe a little bit. So this is boss time. And a lot of like things that you have to avoid. Heal myself with potion. Now the boss, they get out from there. And now the boss is like the shield is off, so now it's time to do some punishment to the boss. Open Heaven. Use a potion a bit. Have to keep a lookout on the timer as well. So I pop my ultimate. Just want to dispatch the mob as fast as I can. Potion. mana potion, get out. I think I was a little bit slow. I was trying to see the cooldown. I can't miss it. Okay, pop my ultimate. Mana potion. Try to get out from. Sometimes it's very hard to move around here, to be honest. Almost there. 30% more, I think. Open heaven. Mana potion, health potion, heal. Open heaven is coming up soon. Try to get out from there as well. Try not to lose focus here. Sometimes you get like, at this point, it's so easy to lose focus. I think I'm running out of mana a bit. I can't pop my ultimate for whatever reason. Get out from the mana potion, ultimate, open heaven, and yeah, so that is it. So as you can see, the fight is actually rather long, longer than if I play the other difficulties. But I thought it's kind of worth it because it's time to actually learn a little bit about some. Kind of like what sort of build that will work when things are a little bit difficult, the negative condition may be working against you, especially when you are facing the spider and poison and all the stacks of the buff as well. Now so that was the first part of the video, just to showcase to you that I can do it with the legendary difficulties. It could be a little bit slower than before, but like I said, it's more for training, more for the extra reward that I have. And so the next bit of the video is really talking about the build, how I make it work in order to deal with the kind of like higher difficulties. I'm still learning, by the way. This is my very first character in Chronicon, level 51, so I'm still learning. My thought may change later on as I play the game a little bit more. So now, just to recap, I'm not going to repeat everything that I've said before. So, from the holy spec point of view, I'm not going to go through each and every note like before because I have already done it in my last video. But interestingly, I'm still pretty much a holy kind of like a spec, and I think just to recap on the kind of like end notes is that when I do open heaven, which like here, there's a consecration, and inside the consecration, I get heal as well as the extra holy damage as well, which is kind of nice. And that's what this whole note is about the consecration. Consecration, which is to heal the Templar as well as to holy ground, buff the Templar's holy damage. So it'll be nice if you time it such a way that you pop your open heaven first before you deal all the stuff like Divine Salvo or the storm as well, hammer storm, because these are the holy damage buffed by the by that. Now I realized that I could potentially put a lot of points in the holy spec because the more points I put in, the more holy damage I deal, health on hit, as well as pick up strength and whatnot. So that is kind of nice. However, the challenge I have is the survivability because the damage is very high, but I kind of not quite comfortable with the whole survivability part. So what I've examined is that each of the notes, if each of the other build, there are things that are quite interesting as well at the low hanging fruit to see which one. This is fire, this is lightning, and this is physical. So I've been examining what I like to do by having a hybrid or potential of having a hybrid. At the end, I've decided to start with the vengeance first. Now, what vengeance does is that for every point that you put in, I will get bonus in physical damage, which doesn't really benefit my holy kind of layer, but I'll talk a little bit about why I'm doing that as well. And also, the good thing about it is there is a health buff as well as the thorn. Now, this Templar is very much, I would like to build her as a DPS tank, so a hybrid that way. So I would like to sacrifice the DPS fine, but to increase the survivability. Now, why is it that important? First of all, the first note is to increase my maximum health by 20%. That is not small, because with the kind of like hit point, I can kind of like take some of the punishment out there. Sometimes could be rather hard. But the more importantly is the all resist. So if you recall, the higher the difficulties, the more penalty on the all resist, which is very much like part of exile as well. So I thought it would be good to counter that. I think the 12% of the all resist is actually not too bad. But I'm also looking for the, say, I cannot, I don't have enough points yet. But I'm looking to increase my damage reduction by up to 7%. So with that, I think I'm rather comfortable with it. But you know how this game works. You can't just pick the notes that you want. You have to invest in some other notes that you may or may not want. So in a sense, I have got to use a physical power because there's no other way to reach all these points without investing some point at the lower tree. So I've decided that my physical power, which is the one that hit, will have a chance to bleed the target for 3 seconds. And you can see a little bit debuff on the enemy's health as well. It does pop, so I'm fine with that. And also I like to put in a little bit of like investment on the physical power, which is a cleave. And because I realized that as the difficulty goes up, I tend to do my left mouse button a lot, which is the just keep clicking. When things are easy, for example, you just pop all the cooldown power, everything disappears. So there's really no big deal whether you put points into the the single, whatever you call it, the cliff or not. But when it comes to like higher difficulties, you really need to have some of these things here. In Marvel Heroes we call it basic power, but I don't want to say it's basic, but it's more or less like basic power to me. So that is the reason why I am going physical. Which means that for the holy part, I do not pick any of these like smite or holy bolt because my basic power cannot be a holy power. So that is the thing that I'm doing. I'm still trying and see whether it works for me or not. But I would definitely invest until a point whereby I get the damage reduction. And I think that is fine and dandy. I mean, I don't think I need to put in too much over here. Maybe a bit more points here if I have extra. But what I really want to do is that continue to explore the exploits, the end notes here, because these are pretty good power. I've got another 2 ranks to go, 1 rank to go, and 2 more ranks to go. So it's quite a fair bit of like things I could do here. And I'm also eyeing on the Lightning note as well. The Lightning has the crit chance increased by 10%, which is quite a big deal because my character right now doesn't. Oops, I keep pressing the wrong button. My character right now doesn't really have that kind of like crit that my crit chance is only 10%, but imagine if I can get it to 20%, that really does it quite a fair bit. In fact, I have what I've done before this video, before the legendary difficulties for the heroic, I've picked the lightning notes to increase the crit chance, and it was really impressive. So I sacrificed, like I say, the farm efficiency just to learn a little bit more what happened at the higher difficulties. I may going back to the lower difficulties just to be a little bit faster, but we will see. I mean, if you don't go through the hard way and get more loot, you can never do the higher difficulties. Do the higher difficulties. In terms of my gear, it's still very much like what I've shown you before. I've got some like like item that I don't know why I'm still using this one, And I think some of these are quite nice, but I'm not using the dancing blade anymore. Last video you saw a dancing blade, and thanks for the tips, by the way. I can turn the nameplate off, and that helps a lot. But this is the Tomb of Healing. It's also not too bad actually. But all these like defensive stats always have a penalty in terms of the farm efficiency, of course. Then I've this one I haven't really upgraded. This one I've got upgraded, called the Carapace of Mozart. I don't know. So I don't really have a lot of gems right now, but I may in the future think about what to gem, what not to gem. The sword is very nice. I've got the this sword give me the crit chance as well as the explosion, ethereal damage is like the Path of Exile. There's one, I can't quite remember what kind of damage, chaos damage. So in Path of Exile, there is a chaos damage, which is basically you cannot mitigate it. It will always hit and you cannot resist it. I think that's how it works in this game now. So it goes through all the mitigation layer into the mob itself. So that is kind of nice. And I increased the damage of all satellite enchants. So I don't know whether these two bobs, little things here, like, you know, are they satellite? I think they are satellite, but don't know whether they're buffed by that or not. Then I've got a ring. This is also quite a nice ring, close, well, but it's not a 50 kind of ring, and I've got like just a normal boot. Last but not the least, just want to show you, you know, I know the inventory management was kind of tedious in my last video or videos I played, but what happened is that I could have used some of this button, like sell all the ordinary quality, sell all the enchanted qualities, so it become a lot easier to go through, because I don't think I'll equip any blue or white item at my stage, so it's very much just examining the you know, from the rare item onwards. Even rare items, I seldom get anything that I need. So well, thank you so much for watching, and thanks for all the tips and encouragement. I really like this game, although it's still on early access. It's been an early access for quite a number of years, but it's developed by one person, and I've joined the Discord. It's still very much active, and you know, I can see the passion this developer has made into this game, and I'm keen to see what happened as I approach level 100. I'm still on Act 2, so I still have another 2 acts to go, and I haven't finished this act yet. So I'm quite confident that maybe I can do a little bit more for you guys in the future. As always, drop a note to me if you would like to ask about some question, or you know, some request on the videos I do, or what aspect of this game you would like me to show you. Happy to do so. So today is weekend, so a happy weekend for you all, to you all. See you next time. Goodbye.